Instructor Carven halted mid-stride at the front of Combat Hall 9, his mandibles clicking once in irritation as his compound eyes swept across the assembled cadets. Predator class was never noisy. The species gathered here, apex hunters from across the coalition, understood dominance instinctively. Silence was respect. Predator class is not training, Carven began, his translator smoothing the rasp of his voice into sharp galactic common. It is refinement. Your species rose by killing efficiently. You are here to perfect what evolution already gifted you. 32 cadets stood in rigid lines. Massive quadrupedal hunters with bone-crushing jaws. Lean ambush predators whose claws could slice alloy. Armored insectoids whose venom dissolved nerve tissue in seconds. And then there was the human. She stood in the third row, barely reaching the shoulder height of the nearest cadet. Slim build. Soft skin. No visible weapons. Her brown hair was tied back neatly, and instead of the hardened stillness of a hunter, she clutched a datapad to her chest like a comfort object. Carven's gaze lingered. That was wrong. He flicked his wrist and pulled her file into his retinal display. Subject, Lyra Chen. Species, human. Classification, predator class, apex. Academic scores scrolled past rapidly. Xenobiology. Emergency medicine. Disaster response. Trauma stabilization. This cadet belonged in medical corps. Carven's mandibles tightened. Cadet, he snapped, eyes locking onto her. Step forward. Lyra obeyed instantly, posture straight but tense. Yes, sir. This is predator class, Carven said flatly. State your specialization. Field medicine, sir, she replied. Search and rescue. A low rumble of amusement rolled through the hall. Explain, Carven ordered. Sir, I believe there's been a clerical error. I was assigned medical track Gamma. I don't hunt. I don't, she hesitated, then added quietly, I don't even eat meat. The rumble turned into hissing laughter. Carven raised one claw. Silence fell instantly. Dietary preference does not alter evolutionary function, he said coldly, scanning the file again. Human. Death world origin. Persistence predator. Endurance-based apex. He dismissed the display. The paperwork is correct. Lyra swallowed. Today's exercise, Carven continued, turning back to the class, is a live survival evaluation. Prey will be released into the biome. You will hunt. You will demonstrate dominance. He paused. Those who fail, do not advance. Lyra felt her stomach tighten as the gates to the simulation arena began to open, the simulated environment bloomed into existence around them, a dense forest stitched together from dozens of planetary biomes. Real soil. Real wind. Real prey. The cadets dispersed instantly. A hulking Ursaver crashed through undergrowth, relying on brute force. A shadow-thin Felid vanished into the canopy. An armored reptilian moved low and slow, nostrils flaring as venom glands primed. Lyra stood still. Carven watched from the elevated observation platform, his irritation growing. She wasn't stalking. She wasn't tracking with enhanced senses or marking territory. She'll freeze, muttered one of the observers. But Lyra didn't freeze. She walked. Not wandering, moving. Her pace was steady, unhurried. She knelt by disturbed soil, brushed her fingers across snapped branches, paused to test wind direction with a strip of fabric torn from her sleeve. She drank sparingly, adjusted her path, and continued forward. Minutes passed. Then an hour. One by one, cadets returned with kills, bleeding, roaring, victorious. Lyra did not return. She's lost, an assistant said. Carven didn't respond. He'd pulled up the tracking overlay. Lyra's path was a near-perfect line. No deviation, he murmured. No rest longer than 30 seconds. She stopped suddenly. And waited. Her heart rate remained calm. Respiration controlled. Muscles relaxed but ready. She's not exhausted, the assistant whispered. She's hunting, Carven replied slowly. A burst of motion broke the underbrush. A fleet-footed grazer bolted, one of the fastest prey species in the simulation. It sprinted at full speed, vanishing between the trees. Lyra didn't chase. She walked after it. Minutes turned into hours. Every time the animal stopped to rest, she appeared again. Not faster. Just, there. Relentless. Unavoidable. Eventually, the grazer collapsed, sides heaving, heart racing toward failure. Lyra jogged the final meters, knelt, and placed her hands gently against its neck. She checked vitals. Then she activated her communicator. Control, she said calmly. Request medical extraction. Prey subject experiencing severe exhaustion and cardiac strain. The observation deck went silent. She didn't kill it, someone whispered. Carven didn't blink. No, he said. She proved she could. Lyra stood at attention in Carven's office, hands clasped behind her back, eyes forward. She looked small in the vast chamber of reinforced alloy and holographic displays. Explain, Carven said. Yes, sir, Lyra replied. Humans evolved as persistence predators. We lack natural weapons, but we dissipate heat efficiently, regulate breathing consciously, and maintain endurance far beyond most species. She spoke without pride. Without hesitation. Our ancestors hunted by following prey until it collapsed. Sometimes for days. Killing wasn't about strength. It was about inevitability. And yet, Carven said, you chose not to kill. Lyra hesitated. I'm training to save lives, sir, she said quietly. Knowing how to hunt doesn't mean I want to end one. Carven leaned back, all four eyes fixed on her. Do you know why humans unsettle the coalition? He asked. She shook her head. Because you don't look like predators, he said. You appear fragile. Soft. Temporary. He stood. But you are the only species that weaponized patience. You made endurance lethal. And now, his gaze sharpened. You apply that same relentlessness to healing. Lyra didn't speak. You will remain in predator class, Carven said. But you will carry a secondary designation. Combat medicine. Her eyes widened. You will learn when to hunt, he continued, and when not to. That restraint, combined with capability, is what makes your species truly dangerous. Lyra saluted. At the door, she paused. Sir. Yes. What should I tell the others, she asked, when they ask how someone like me passed predator class? Carven's mandibles clicked softly, almost a smile. Tell them the truth, he said. Humans don't need to enjoy killing, to be unmatched at it. Long after Lyra left, Carven remained standing. He replayed the footage again, the steady pace, the calm breathing, the choice at the end. No hesitation. No triumph. Just control. He had seen killers. He had trained monsters. But the human girl terrified him more than any of them. Because she represented a species that could end you slowly, and would still stop to save your life afterward. That was not mercy. That was mastery. Carven updated her file personally. Classification confirmed. No error. As Predator class resumed the following cycle, cadets watched Lyra differently. They gave her space. Not out of fear. Out of respect. Because they understood now. The most dangerous predator was not the one that struck fastest. It was the one that never stopped. And knew exactly when to stop anyway.